My name is Nishith Desai, Nishith Desai. I'm almost 32 years old. I was born in 27 June 1980. I was born in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and I grew up all my life, almost 26 years in Dar es Salaam, and then I came to London and to pursue my further studies. I finished my bachelor's here. I finished my master's in finance here. I'm doing my SEC as well, so I'm about to finish with the help of Allah by December. And as I told you before, I was born in Dar es Salaam itself, and I was born and brought up there like almost my entire life before I came to London for 26 years. When I was young, I'd gone to a nursery school called Union Nursery School. I was there. I finished my nursery schooling there for 2 to 3 years something, and before I moved to primary school, which was Olympia Primary School. But then, most of my nursery 3 or 4 years I was in. I'd gone to Union Nursery School, which is in Dar es Salaam. There is the school is now it's known as like Al Muntazir Islamic School. That's the same place I'd gone before when it was still almost talking about 20 years back, 22 years back for my nursery schooling. Now it's called Al Muntazir. Is it primary school or secondary school? Something, I guess it's secondary school. I see my life as a journey from what I was born in a Jain family, and then practicing Jainism, and then slowly as time passed by, I reverted myself to a beautiful religion, Islam. I was born in a Jain family. I was somehow practicing Jainism, but then again, since I was born, so it's like you're trying to follow your parents, what your parents tell you. Okay, it's Jainism, and you start practicing Jainism, but I didn't have much idea about Jainism other than just like, okay, fine, practicing. It's like you're being told in your childhood that you have to practice. You have to do certain. You have to go here. You have to pray to this god, for example, Mahavir Swami, or etc. And you go, you pray, you do so and so rituals or whatsoever. But then I was practicing, but then as time went by, then I stopped practicing. But then again, it's like I was Jainism, because Jainism is regarded as a different religion, not part of Hinduism. It's a different religion compared to Hinduism itself. So then again, it's like you start practicing. I started practicing Hinduism as well. You go to temple and you pray to different gods as well. The way it is in Hinduism, like in the practice of Hinduism, like people pray to so many gods, and they go to different temples, and they pray to gods and all that. But then I was practicing both. I was Jainism and Hinduism as well. But again, it was just like, okay, fine, you're born as in a Hindu or Jain religion. You practice. That's what you're being told to do. And you're being kept away from the reality, from the truth, what the truth is, about the religion of, what the true religion is. And I kept on following, and then later on it was I was just and then I came to London, and and initially as well, because of all this negativity going on around the media with respect to the religion, about Islam and about terrorism and all those things, I was very much against as well Islam, because I was deeply more into the religion that I was following and I was told to follow. As I said, of course, I was born in Jainism, and of course, like practicing Jainism and Hinduism as well. In reality, I was, you might be knowing Hinduism is more about like practicing or worshipping demigods, like idol worshipping, which which is the main. People think there are so many gods, and they just think, okay, you know, all these gods, they came into this world at previous years, and you know, God literally came, like reincarnation, all those things. But basically, yeah, I was just praying, and it's very difficult to say whether my prayers were being answered or not. But then because I was just into this practice, like, you know, being put into this practice since childhood, and no one gave me the right path, the guidance, you know, whether, you know, idol worshipping is allowed or not. And you know, your surrounding, you see your surrounding, your friends, colleagues, you know, family members, everyone, you know, they doing idol worshipping as well. So you then just think, okay, fine, this is the right way, this is the way of like praying. So yeah, I was just praying, and I just started continuing praying. Then, you know, we have our own way of fasting as well. Hinduism, you know, we have, or Jainism, you know, we have certain days that, you know, you need to fast, and well, it's not compulsory, but if you do it, it's good as well. But then yeah, you fast, but you know, you follow the same rituals, same practice, but it's very difficult to say whether the prayers being whether prayers were being answered or not. But then when I was praying, I wasn't feeling, you know, it wasn't like sometimes, you know, when you pray, when I was praying, it wasn't like a deep sort of praying, you know. It's like, you know, you just go, you pray, you know, so many gods, and you know, you pray one god at a time, whether you go to temple, you know, you just go pray one god at a time. You know, you go to a different temple, you pray one god at a time, and same prayers and everything. But you know, sometimes, you know, it's just like sometimes you're being forced to, you know, I was being forced, okay, you know, let's, you know, you just pray, and you know, and just you know, continue practicing the same way. But in reality, I don't think so, whether the prayers were being accepted or accounted for. And maybe perhaps I don't know, but maybe perhaps God wanted maybe that maybe, you know, if your prayers are being answered or not, and that perhaps led me to the right path, rather than, you know, prayers being answered, and then I would have just been following the same and following same religion, and not coming to the right religion. Initially, my perception of Islam was absolutely negative, like, you know, of what's happening. That is mainly due to two reasons. One is like a lack of knowledge of the religion itself. You know, people telling you or explaining you, or, you know, giving you guidance. You know, Islam is not this. Islam is a very good religion also. So, totally lack of knowledge of Islam, and through getting you know, knowledge from other people or through resources. The main reason was. It's all about negativity going on, like, you know, in media since 2001, I guess, from 9/11, and, you know, before that as well, and you know, about terrorism, and you know, jihad, and, you know, etc., you know, and then they use out of context some of the words, and, you know, then they portray, you know, about you know, negativity about the Islam, you know, through that. So obviously, it's human nature, human tendency. Everyone will start having misconception, including, you know, me, and before also some of my family members, and they all have you know, negative misconception about you know, about the religion itself, about Islam. So I just try and go and do some, you know, research online, and read, and I was like, no, this is not what it is. You know, this is not like what people think about. And then I started, like, you know, downloaded like you know, Quran in Apple, like, you know, iPhone, and then I was just reading, you know, whenever I get time, you know, just read through it, and that's where, alhamdulillah, I got more knowledge, and thanks to Allah, all praise to Him, that He gave me strength to accept His religion. I started researching is after gaining deep insights, because even though I was Hinduism as well, practicing Hinduism as well, and we have our own books as well, Vedas, Upanishads, and all those things, all those like holy books as well. But then it also mentions everything, it prophesizes, you know, about the coming of Prophet Muhammad in those books, in our holy books, you know. and into it also prophet like coming of Prophet Muhammad, you know, in going to come, and you know you have to follow him and follow, you know, his books like the Holy Quran and his teaching and everything. So you have to follow that. So even though I was following, but then as time went, then I was not like firm believer of Hinduism. I was not like literally practicing a few years back, like you know, my own religion itself. And then that led me, because once you come to know about new resources, new things, you get new ideas, you know, about other different religions, then it's good, like, you know, you try and research, and you know, you get idea about you know, about the religion itself, rather than just leaving it aside, because there is a proof from our books as well, from Hinduism books as well, in that prophesizes about the coming of Holy Prophet, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So that led me to research more, and that gained me more idea about Islam itself, and that's what, you know, gave me more strength to accept, you know, religion, Islam, and having, you know, read Quran as well, and mentioning everything about oneness of God, you know, that Islam is the only religion, oneness of God. We have to follow Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, etc. So yeah, I just made up my mind, and I follow, you know, accepted Islam, and of course at the same time I was you know, going to get married to Shia girl as well. So that was also another reason as well for accepting Islam as well, so that, you know, we can follow the same religion going forward together. After accepting and gaining all these thorough insights of Islam, and having been ready now, okay, I'm in a good position now to accept Islam. And so what we did, we did a 2-in-1 ceremony. That's on somewhere in 12th of January this year, 2012. 2-in-1 ceremony in terms of like, you know, doing Shahada, you know, doing Shahada and accepting Islam. And straight after doing Shahada and accepting Islam, we did a Nikah, which is like, you know, Nikah as well. And while doing Shahada, because I was already mentally prepared from before, and absolutely mentally prepared from before, you know, that I want to, you know, accept Islam, the Malim who was in charge of conducting the Nikah, he also asked me, and also through him, of course, we did the Shahada as itself. He also asked us, or asked me basically, that, you know, are you being forced to accept Islam, or is it because you are getting married to a Muslim girl? So is it like you are being forcefully, you are being forced to accept Islam because of her religion and through her parents or family members? And my answer was simply no, and there's no force. You know, no one is forcing me to accept Islam. It's all my personal will, you know, personal will to go, I mean, to accept Islam. And we did Shahada, and I accepted Islam at that time. And then thereafter we did Nikah. And when doing the Shahada, of course, and after Shahada, and you know, because it's like a totally new religion, and you know, it's like you are absolutely a new religion. You know, you don't know anything, you know, about prayers and, you know, how to live the Islamic life. Okay, number one, Islam is a very beautiful religion. They don't, as far as I'm concerned, the religion does not impose you anything if you don't know and if you make a sin. But then the moment you know something and then you continue making sins, that's where it starts imposing you, you know, for your sins. So then at the same time, I was like, anything, you know, they call it like taqwa. It's like every time now, you know, anything or any actions that I take, it's like, you know, always conscious whether, you know, is it right or wrong, and, you know, am I committing sins or am I not committing sins, or also. So always like I'm trying to be very cautious. But at the same time, when I did Shahada, it was very a nice feeling and a very different sort of feeling. I don't know how to say. It's like, you know, coming to a new religion, how will I adopt this religion, you know, about the prayers, you know, who's going to teach me. And then the main thing is, you know, when people come to know from my family members or so whatsoever that, you know, you have accepted Islam, you know, what the outcome would be. And so all these doubts, they were going in my mind. Not doubts, but then all this thinking was going on in my mind. So, how things will turn out. But then I took one step at a time, and thanks to Allah, so far things has been okay. I'm praying and trying to be cautious and not to make any sins or do any sins whatsoever. I'm trying to pray and trying to lead the life the way he wants, and the way Prophet has mentioned in his hadiths and as per the Quran as well. I'm trying to follow that. But yeah, so far the feeling was, at that time when I took the Shahada, the feeling was like a 50-50 sort of thing. I was happy and a bit nervous as well, that how will I continue with the religion? Will I be able to continue, and the way Islam is, the way all the everything that you need to follow, will I be able to follow, and all these things. But mashallah, slowly I'm learning and trying to research, learn new things, try and ask people in the mosque or through resources, internet, and get some new ideas. And that's where I'm going on with my life so far. So far it's so good. That's all I can say. But the rest is, of course, up to Allah to forgive me, or if I committed any sins or so, which, of course, I don't know. I may be thinking I'm doing right, but it's all up to Him to forgive me or not. So, yeah. When I started, well, of course, when I was practicing Jainism and Hinduism as well, before not even knowing anything about Islam, and about like with misconceptions about Islam or whatsoever. Yeah, I was praying, and in Hinduism there's nothing that that you need to obligatory prayers, like, or you need to pray 5 times a day, or so and so how to pray, or it's just like, okay, you go to temple, or at home, you quickly pray, and there is no strict rules as well, of praying the way Islam imposes, okay, about covering your body or whatsoever, but there was in terms of the religion wise, there was happiness was there, and the happiness was not there as well sometimes. And I didn't ever, in my life, I never knew that I would be accepting Islam, and there was no way out that I would be accepting Islam. The journey, life is beautiful. I mean, the life is such that Allah knows the best, like where He is leading you, where He's going to take you, and perhaps He had written it for me that I'll be meeting my wife, and at certain age or certain stage, perhaps I'll have to accept his religion and become a Muslim. So yeah, that's how I am. But in my life, never ever I dreamt about of becoming a Muslim. Never ever in my life. And after becoming Muslim, I'm very happy, and mashallah, I'm trying my best to pray 5 times a day, and well, there are a couple of reasons which perhaps I can't pray if I'm staying with my mom or whatsoever, because she doesn't know they've accepted Islam. But other than that, I try my best to pray 5 times a day. And the feeling inside is a very beautiful feeling, and I'm happy, to be a Muslim. I grew up in a family where my parents, they were like practicing the religion. They are still. Well, my father has passed away, but then whenever like till the time he was alive, even including my mom, like of course she's still alive. They were practicing the religion, Jainism and Hinduism, whatsoever. They were practicing, and they are still. I mean, she is still practicing. For our case. As I mentioned before, we don't have anything, that strict timings that you need to pray. It's like whenever you feel like, you can just go in a small temple in your house. You just go there, you pray even for 1 minute, 2 minutes, quick prayers, and you come out. But then we don't even have. If you don't go to the temple, okay, fine, you go to the temple. So yeah, again, there was nothing like a strict whether you have to go to the temple and pray. So whenever there was any occasion, or whenever you felt like, okay, you have time, and you're passing by, or you have time or whatsoever, then you go to temple. or go early morning. Some people, they have this practice of waking up early in the morning. They just go to the temple, do some puja or prayers or whatsoever. But there was in short, in general, they were practicing the religion, and my mom, she's still practicing the religion, though I can't say whether she's a absolute believer or absolute into proper practicing properly or not, but just praying in front of the gods and all that. So yeah, she is okay, in short, she is a religious person. With respect to we have I have my elder brother with me, who is still back home in Tanzania, and he is, of course, he is religious as well. He goes to temple, he goes to he goes to pray there every morning. He wakes up, then after all his duties and everything, then after dropping his child, he goes to temple, pray, come back home, and then goes to work and all those things. So yeah, my brother has always been religious as well. From before I was here religious as well, but as time went, then my faith started decreasing towards the religion, towards the Jainism and Hinduism as well. But then my mom, she is still practicing now the religion, but again, me, I cannot practice I cannot practice Islam or practice or pray in front of her, because somehow she knows my intentions, because most of the times whenever I'm at home and watching TV, I straight away, the first thing I do is try and flick through the Islamic channels and see if there's any meaningful some lectures or some programs coming, I'll gain thorough knowledge about it. And so I go to different channels, and wherever I find this is a good channel, I'll enjoy and get a thorough knowledge about it, I start reading, listening to it. And my mom, she's there as well at times, and she watches it as well. So she has got some idea, some sense that either I've changed my religion, or I may be changing to Islam, because I do and try and talk to her as well, about the reality, about the difference between Hinduism and Islam, and what the right religion is, what the reality is, what the truth is. But then again, it is one of those things that we being human beings, we don't think about God, we don't think about Allah. We start thinking about the environment, that what will my cousin think about, what will my my brother think about, or what will my sister think about, or I'm changing to Islam, or I'm listening to Islam, and all those things. So we tend to think more about the environment rather than Allah. So that is again problem comes in for even my mom to even if she is convinced by me or by other people, other resources, even for her to change to Islam. I'm praying to Allah, to give her strength and to accept Islam. Once I'm doing some good dawah to her, or to other resources, and if I give books to her to read or whatsoever. But I'm just praying to Allah to to give her to give her strength and accept Islam. But it's again one of those things. We human beings tend to think about other people than to think about our own. About about us itself, and about Allah itself, what He wants and what He doesn't want. There is the school is now it's known as Al Muntazir Islamic School. That's the same place I'd gone before when it was still, almost talking about 20 years back, 22 years back for my nursery schooling. Now it's called Al Muntazir. Is it primary school or secondary school, something? I guess it's secondary school. I see my life as a journey from what I was born in a Jain family, and then practicing Jainism, and then slowly as time passed by, I reverted myself to a beautiful religion, Islam. Yeah, I was born in a Jain family. I was somehow practicing Jainism, but then again, since I was born, so it's like, you know, you trying to follow go to temple, and you pray to different gods as well. The way it is in Hinduism, like, you know, in the practice of Hinduism, like, you know, people pray to so many gods, and you know, they go to different temples, and you know, they pray to gods and all that. But then yeah, I was practicing both. I was Jainism and Hinduism as well. But again, it was just like, okay, fine, you know, you born as in a Hindu or Jain religion, you know, you practice, you know, that's what you're being told to do, and you know, you're being kept away from the reality, from the truth, what the truth is, you know, about the religion of, you know, what the true religion is. And yeah, I kept on following, and then later on it was doing my SEC as well, so I'm about to finish with the help of Allah by December. And as I told you before, I was born in Dar es Salaam itself, and I was born and brought up there, like almost my, you know, entire life before I came to London for 26 years. When I was young, I'd gone to a nursery school called Union Nursery School. I was there. I finished my nursery schooling there for 2 to 3 years something, and before I moved to primary school, which was Olympia Primary School. But then yeah, most of my nursery 3 or 4 years I was in I'd gone to Union Nursery School, which is in Dar es Salaam. My name is Nishith Desai, Nishith Desai. I'm almost 32 years old. I was born on 27 June 1980. I was born in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and I grew up all my life, almost 26 years in Dar es Salaam, and then I came to London and to pursue my further studies. I finished my bachelor's here. I finished my master's in finance here. I'm parents. What your parents tell you, okay, you know, it's Jainism, and you know, you start practicing Jainism. But I didn't have much idea about Jainism other than just like, okay, fine, practicing. You know, it's like you're being told in your childhood that you have to practice. You know, you have to do certain, you have to go here, you have to pray to this god, you know, for example, Mahavir Swami, or, you know, etc. And, you know, you go, you pray, you do so and so rituals or whatsoever. But then I was practicing, but then as time went by, then, you know, I stopped practicing. But then again, it's like I was Jainism, because Jainism is regarded as a different religion, not part of Hinduism. It's a different religion compared to Hinduism itself. So then again, you know, it's like you start practicing. I started practicing Hinduism as well. You know, you